Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Chatbox Vail. 100% excited to let you guys know that we are one of the winners in the category for podcast during the Best of Vail. Yay! So I just wanted to thank anybody who gave us a little vote because mental health is important, and that's what we do here at the Chatbox, coming to you from High Five Access Media. We like to bring in people that can either show us ways to get out of a funk or feel not so alone. There's so many courses that you can take here or people to see. And we also wanted to open up the world, our little world here, to our community and have some personal perspectives of mental health awareness and combating it and finding your own individual suspected way to make yourself get out of whatever you're in. You know, climb out of the darkness, get out of the funk, don't be isolated, don't feel like you're all alone ever because nobody is. We all have something that somebody else is going through, and that's why we're here today. So, my co-host Jen Sido. Yay! We need our applause thing. I'm Liz Farron, and we have a very special guest today. This is Dave Donahue. He's a local musician, as well as you said something.
Technologist.
That's right. He's like a technologist. I couldn't figure out the lights here. Thank God we have a technologist here in the studio. But we were talking, it was Jen's idea actually, and I loved it, to say, let's open up the platform a little bit to people in the community that have been going through some stuff. We've done it before with a few people who have really been through it. I mean, you know, we've talked to people that have seen the other side of the ideologies and lots of other stuff.
Well, and I think there's nothing more powerful than storytelling and sharing your experience and your journey through storytelling. And we all learn from that. And, you know, it's cathartic when you're sharing and somebody's getting something from it as well. And so I think it's a gift and it's healing for yourself at the same time. So
100%.
Yes.
So Dave, when I asked you to come on, you were like, oh, I don't know. But then you realized you have a lot to offer people.
Yes.
I mean, and I've known this for a long time. I've known you for probably 12, 13 years now.
Yeah.
And I've been to so many of the music shows that you put on. But we've talked personally before about a lot of private stuff that both you and I have gone through, different, obviously, but still, when it's in the mental health realm, we're all struggling in one way or another. And we all want to find a way out. So the most important thing that I wanted to have you on here is I have seen you transform yourself.
Well, thank you.
No, I mean, you have too, right? You've known Dave a long time.
of course, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I've watched you transform to somebody that we thought was going to die one day.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
I'm
true.
being
That's
honest
true.
right now.
Me
I'm not
too.
even cutting through do anything.
That's right. Yep.
A lot of us thought he's going to die if he doesn't get something fixed.
Yep.
And I think you realized it too. So take us on your journey and let us know how, if you don't mind, what you were going through and why you were in the midst of darkness and then how you climbed out.
Well, we all have battles, right? So that's really important to remember that we all have. Everyone does. So being sympathetic, empathetic to seeing everyone around us, you know, especially in tough times, which it always seems like it's tough times, right? Like, when was it? When were we
For
like
some
it's not
people,
tough times, right?
It feels like that, yeah.
But the first thing, you know, to start with the now real quick is to be patient with yourself, to breathe.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
I always have to remember that.
Yeah. Appreciating what we do have and being aware of why we struggle and what we can do to help ourselves. And it's never perfect. There's never a moment where we're like, we reached a finish line and then we're done. You know, It never is that.
No, it's a work in progress for your whole life.
Always in progress.
I just don't like seeing so many people self-medicating to get out of the darkness or to mask it. So
That's
you
part
did
of the picture.
I know, but you kind of went on a natural journey, and it's like insane.
Yeah, where to start? So I'll start early. You know, starting with music because I am a musician, so that's one of the reasons I'm here. And
Dave Donahue, the guitar guy.
Well, bass player is kind of my black belt.
I always think of you as the guitar guy.
But that ties into the history because I had the wonderful opportunity of growing up in a musical family, and Mom was piano player.
Oh, nice.
And bass player.
How random. Can you picture your mom?
So she was good at all the instruments, but bass players are hard to find. So she chose that path of joining. She had a band.
No way.
So from day one coming home, she already had a band that practiced in my house, that rehearsed in our basement of my house, growing up on the East Coast.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And dad was there, but he was going to work every day, so mom was stay-at-home mom with me and my sister.
You're the coolest mom ever.
Taught us piano at an early age, and she had a really amazing piano instructor when she was learning piano.
Okay.
So she bought a Fender jazz bass in the 70s and played that bass with her all-ladies R&B band that rehearsed in my house growing up.
I love that.
What a way to grow up. Oh my gosh.
So it was a combination of celebration, a lot of celebration.
Yeah.
So like my house threw the parties. And my mom's band would play, and we would like supposed to be upstairs, but I'd sneak down and watch. Yeah. So from an early age, it was music was our outlet.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, this became an outlet for you early.
And I would sneak onto every instrument, and I learned piano first. Wow. I learned drums. I played alto saxophone.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I'm learning a lot about you, and it's only, what are we in? 6 minutes.
6 minutes in.
Yeah.
So just had an opportunity to play all those instruments. Got to play in bands in school. And then there was a moment where I was playing the drums. I had a drum kit. My mom bought me a drum kit. Aww. And it even had like Heartbeat City Cars kind of logos on it. It was that era. I'll immediately date myself now.
Most parents do not buy their children drums for any reason.
Yeah. And, on side note too, my parents stuck up for us kids who wanted to play music and be loud. I'm always been loud, and the neighbors, weren't super psyched about it because we were in a conservative part of the East Coast growing up, and but they stuck up for us. We were the black sheep family. We were the. But then
there's a conservative part of the East Coast.
Oh no way!
Contain my shock.
No, there certainly is. I know. It ties into. That's another story, but
another podcast for another day.
Podcast. But so we had the opportunity to play a lot of music. I remember the day where I went from just reading music off a page and regurgitating music and thinking music was kind of fun to feeling music and have the music come through me.
Where you feel
and
the
play
emotions.
Me.
Wow.
And I played because this is what was happening.
What did it do to your body? Tell us what it did to your body.
Right away, it was a shiver experience. It was a full body high. I mean, I was
divine tingles.
I mean, I was like 11 or something. I was pretty young. This is early. But I never forget being in my room, middle of the summer, hot, and we had one of those fans that just blows hot air in the house. No AC. And all the windows are open, and my parents were out at dinner, and I just got on my drum kit and I put on Allman Brothers double album, the Live at the Fillmore East album.
Nice.
I just put that on, Statesboro Blues, Memory of Elizabeth Reed, so many good tracks, and I played drums along to that album. And that first playing to that album made me go from just kind of music's fun to look at on a page and play off what they're doing to something I was making, even though I was following along. That's where I could now turn the album off and keep playing and felt it. And then not too long after that, my mom went back to nursing, so she's a nurse. And she went back to nursing. And
what an amazing woman.
And my parents divorced. I was 13, which is...
Who would leave her?
Yeah, which is part of the tough part of the story.
Love her.
But at the time, I didn't know it was tough. It was this is just what's happening. Mom was working a lot as a nurse.
Okay.
She gave me the bass, and that's still the bass that I play.
Oh my God.
As my daily driver, mostly. Although it's now a vintage item, so I have 4 other basses to supplement. So you
don't wreck it.
Yeah, it's kind of vintage now, so just to be careful with it. But,
oh my God.
But it's
That's so beautiful.
It's an heirloom and a really sought after musical instrument that anytime I play it and I'm around
Fender's
a
big deal anyway.
And Fender's a big deal,
especially from the 70s.
Yep, 70s Fender's jazz bass.
Yeah.
So
I used to have an Epiphone guitar.
Yeah.
I thought I was so cool until all my friends started getting Fenders.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. It could be a knockoff. There's some musicians out there, just to highlight Krung Bin real quick, where she took a bass that was a knockoff.
Oh, you could do anything if you have that passion.
It became so popular that Fender now has a series in her name, in Laura Lee's name, to do a knockoff sound. So like she took something that was just she was genuine with it, and so that's the whole point. Is doesn't matter, if you have the perfect stuff.
It doesn't matter.
Just matters if you're being genuine with what you want to do.
You can have a Charlie
and
Bound piano or a grand baby.
Exactly.
Or a baby grand. Something like that.
Baby grand. But
baby
that's
grand.
okay. That's okay. So having music all around me. Then in middle school, played in high school band.
Oh, you did?
High school, played with some older people, like not college band, but like older, musicians. And then by the time I was in college,
you mean hippies?
I was doing some touring with the band.
Oh, wow!
And playing a lot of gigs and involved in the music scene. So
that's amazing to know what you want and have a passion for it at such a young age. And then I don't know, I'm not going to ask how old you are, but many years later, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
How many people can say they do what they love so much? It's really I understand why you practice gratitude.
Yeah, there was a moment also in music where I realized I cannot do this full time for money, which is kind of sad. It's a supplemental income. If you made it like your number one thing, I mean, so much respect to all the people, and now content creators have a little more chance maybe to do it without just totally going broke.
Oh yeah, I know, because I did stand up, and I was like, I'm either gonna starve forever and keep going from small town to small town, or find a job and do it when I love it, and it makes it more enjoyable.
There's no shortcuts where you can like feel like you can. I mean, maybe there's some scenarios where someone that just has money and then they go and do their creative thing. They don't have to worry about it. But most people, I feel like, if they just had money, they might not be creative.
Right.
And then if they were able to turn their creative thing into real money, that's really hard to do.
You got to be hungry.
Most creative people do have lots of side gigs. So I always had lots of side gigs and other
Tell me some of your weirdest jobs that you've had on the side.
Oh, man. Should we go there?
No, just for like a hot second, just because it's fun. I used to twist balloon animals.
It's a lot.
For kids.
Early on was I was in food service and food and all that stuff. But then, and I'll get into it a little more. I was an EMT for a long time, so we'll get into that too.
Oh,
but
that must have given you a lot of trauma.
EMT work, yes, definitely. It's both. It's where you're helping.
Yeah.
And also sacrificing
that mental dichotomy.
Yeah. And then rather like the crossroads where I realized I couldn't do music all the time for money was where I got into technology. So so San Francisco Bay Area, .com boom, 90s, right out of college, and then got into technology, and that was pretty lucrative, and also didn't know it was going to be lucrative. Got into some of that when everyone had no idea what was happening. So I was kind of the right place, right time with some of the early technology work. Then I took a total phase change. We all have that's how it started, right? Like there's no finish line, right? But we continue to do and evolve, exactly. And I went from San Francisco Bay Area to Boulder and got involved as a massage therapist at the Boulder College of Massage Therapy.
I thought I had a lot of different jobs.
For 12 years.
This is great.
Yep. And then I did that in a lot of different facets, including sort of medical-based work where we worked with acupuncturists, massage, me, and
those are the people we like to introduce to our community. Yeah. Which one gave you, besides the music, which gave you the most satisfaction?
Well, on that same lines, a gentleman would come in a wheelchair, and we do work on him. This was through, at the time, one of the bigger healthcare systems, and they had kind of gone to like a new wellness model, especially in Boulder, where instead of just, it's kind of some of it's marketing where they're doing more wellness rather than like just giving you a pill and sending you home. And so we had a wheelchair patient that after like 6 treatments left walking, Wow. Yeah. And it was someone, who had, I won't name all the ailments because it's, disrespectful to like talk about patients too much, but like they had a really good experience with seeing chiropractor, acupuncturist, massage therapist in a medical setting, and then the results were really amazing. So getting involved in that was amazing.
That is gratifying.
And however, I would say that some of those kind of bodywork sciences are also really tough to just do for money, and you have to have other side gigs, and you have to continue to same thing. Love the passion, but
Why is all the altruistic work low pay?
it is interesting that way. I mean, how much do you really need to live? I mean, it grows if you end up with some debt, or if you end up with, a lot of stuff. If you end up with, we all, it's part of society.
We collect.
Right?
That's our
we end up with
habit.
a lot of stuff.
But I always believed in, like, if you have enough for your own means, that's when you can become generous. And that's where you can go out and help others and do something for people that might be struggling. Like right now with the SNAP and everything like that. All I want to do is run to people's houses and give them food. I just want to run around and buy food for everybody because we're all that way.
Yeah.
All three of us, because we've all been traumatized in one way or another, so we have empathy.
Yeah.
And so all I can think about is how can I get a food drive out? And maybe we're going to try and do something through the chat box and high five. But it's like all you can think of when you've been through stuff, you have a bigger heart and you're willing to reach out for somebody and help somebody.
And how much does food hit at that level? Where, food.
Well, food insecurity's got to be worse than rent insecurity.
Yeah. But food security, is what we're going for.
Yeah.
Because food does mean home. Food means nourishment. Food means all these things. But it can also be terrifying. And food can mean escape, or it can mean
explain more
something
about that.
you don't have more of. And it's a resource. So it's like when we want a light on, we turn the switch and the light comes on. When the light doesn't come on, there's a moment of panic. Like, why isn't the light on? How do I fix it? Same thing with food. Like when we have access to food and then we're having as much as we want, and then someone doesn't have access to it, that's, how scary is that? Because we only have a certain amount of fuel tank, and then we have to have food. So so it also can become, because it's so many things, it can be overdone, obviously, and be more than nourishment, and go into more of an escape of a, there's eating your emotions, right? There's starving your emotions.
Yes.
And those can both be food, right? On either of those subjects, right? Which can be.
Do you want to talk deeper about it?
Yes, absolutely. First you kind of, you go through an item, a trauma. I'll use the EMT work, for example.
Okay.
And I do want to come back to like the story of the EMT work a little bit more. Sure. But in the immediate, if your body has trauma in it, then there's ways to help the trauma. One of your other guests, I love their analogy, which I use a lot when I was a therapist, that in the animal kingdom, when the antelope runs away from the lion, that's scary. Like it could just get killed right there. Right. So the antelope, in the antelope's mind, the lion's just hungry, he wants food. But the antelope,
anxiety.
If it gets away, there's a mechanism in nature where they can reset the autonomous nervous system. The nervous system can be reset just by lying down in the grass and shaking, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of, and then they get up, and their memory and trauma of the lion is gone. Like
that's amazing.
They know it's there, and they have to run again at some point.
I'm gonna try that by the river.
But they don't hold on to that like humans later on. Mm-hmm. We, with more intelligence and more brain power, that same intelligence can work against you, because we are just a pile of memories and a pile of food that's gathered. I mean, that's all we are, really. I mean, if you think about it, the past is kind of just all of our memories. Like the past isn't happening right now, but our memories of the past are flooding there.
And that's what makes us dictate our lives and reactions.
It can be.
It's mostly the way a lot of people live, because they don't have the proper tools to get past something.
Right.
So if you're living with something that's constantly here, your reactions are different than they might be if you were able to overcome it or put it back here somewhere.
Yeah, it's tough because there's no quick takeaway. Again, there's no shortcut. There's long, processes that we can learn that don't happen overnight, that we can learn to settle ourselves. Again, it comes back to breathing and body awareness. And I know we jumped around a lot here, but food can just be an escape, right? So we talk about that. It can act like a substance. It can act like alcohol or drugs or cigarettes.
I know some people that have had addictions to food.
Absolutely.
And
addiction to sugar is a huge one.
I have that.
And or carbohydrates, however you want to look at it, it's the same process in the body that you get spike in blood sugar, you get elevated mood, and all these different processes are happen. But then there's also a counterbalance to that. The crash and the way insulin plays a role in the body and insulin resistance, that's where we're getting to, is by having just a diet that goes out of control, and unfortunately that can look a lot of different ways for different people. For me personally, it was I just never felt full, and that's part of the kind of psychology of it. Like hunger just never turned off. So I would try. Like I would try to eat my way to feel better. I would try to eat my way to rest. I would try to eat my way to feel good. But it had some pretty bad side effects, as anyone knows. And especially more processed food, more fast food, more junk food.
And then you worry about
disease. Sugar. Sure, yeah. And in the short term, you just are hungry. I'm hungry now.
So you're just going to fulfill that.
Ghrelin is a hormone that is the hunger hormone. Ghrelin.
Ghrelin?
Ghrelin is the hunger hormone.
Ghrelin?
Yeah, ghrelin.
My belly's growling.
Yeah, it's in the brain. None of it's in the belly. So all the food passion stuff and hunger center, everything that we think is our stomach is actually just happening in the nervous system, in the brain. Yeah, and then that can work against you. Again, you can have a situation where that is your out, is
absolutely
something to reach to. And of course, then we talk about the social implications of, you might come from a place. I came from a place where it was a little overly strict. So, and that's a good thing, family that wanted to have less sugar around, less junk food around, because all the kids, are eating juicy juice and
drinking tab soda.
But coming from a strict place is also equally. So as soon as I had some freedom, that first I didn't mention the lawn mowing job, in the teenage years, the raking leaves, once you get that first bit of income, then I would ride my 10-speed Pook over to the grocery store and get
all
sugar
your
cereal
stuff.
Yeah, and get candy. Mm-hmm. And then I'll never forget, there was a Halloween once where I was probably about 9 or 10, where I got, we just bring the pillowcase, none of this little bucket, we bring a pillowcase.
That was my costume.
We were on the mission to get all the candy, contest,
God. That's so funny.
And then we'd line all the different kinds up and trade them. And then I'd go home and secretly eat all of it at once.
Oh, wow.
That's where we
Did you feel like vomiting afterwards?
At one point, I was hospitalized because of that.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, honey.
I broke out in hives, and we didn't know what was going on. I didn't even know what was going on. And
Did you go into a hypoglycemic shock?
Probably. I definitely took a ride to the hospital, and then we figured it out. And then it was interesting. I had some aversions to chocolate, allergic to chocolate for a while, because of that event. Probably
you probably created it within your system.
Yeah, and at the time I had no idea why am I doing this? What's happening? And I carried that bad habit, later into life, and definitely later on. Same kind of thing. I'd like to eat before I went out. If I go out, even if it was to go to a dinner or something where I wanted to eat, I would eat first, just in case
there wasn't enough
or wasn't what I liked or something like that.
Okay.
And then I ended up having that food and then come home late night. And especially, if there was alcohol in the picture, which a lot of times there was, I may have been lucky to have dodged anything really serious in that scenario. But, college days and, definitely when I was younger, that contributed to, and I wasn't gaining any weight. So, I was real skinny. I started out small. I was pretty strong, and I could keep that going and hide it because no one knew. No one knew. Right, yeah.
And then it catches
then
up
later
eventually.
Catches up with you, sure. And I went through some roller coasters of. I had a pretty major health event when I was 32 that wasn't exactly related, but I had a digestive system emergency that required surgery. I won't go too much into the details of that right now, but I had a 2-week stay in the ICU.
Wow.
And that was kind of a random event, maybe heredity, that caused that.
Any eye-opening situations from
It was acute diverticulitis.
Okay.
But I had it really young, and I had a portion of my large intestine removed surgically to save my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And so at the end of that, without going into that, so that could be its own podcast, that whole experience. But at the end of that, healing from that, I'll never forget. I went to the doctor. I almost named him. He's an amazing doctor in the system nearby us here, and he was a surgeon that saved me, and in a 9-hour surgery,
Wow.
and did all that. And there's a lot more
That's
to
a long
it.
surgery.
But that same doctor, at a certain point where I had kind of healed from that, and I like my last visit with him, about 6-8 months after the major event had happened to me, he what can I have to eat? Is there anything I can't have? Because during the healing process, where I had the emergency, I could have like Ensure and ice cubes. That was for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I like turned into a skeleton. So I had already
I like Ensure, though. It's tasty.
I had already like gotten a little overweight and then like had an emergency and like went way down to like emaciated, dangerously
Wow.
small.
So you were just
Yeah.
accordioning.
I was an accordion.
Yeah.
I was an accordion. So then the doctor told me, I was like, well, what can I can't have? And now thinking back to that, in a way, I almost wish he had said there has to be these restrictions.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you can have anything you want. You can have anything
Because
you
he
want.
wanted you to gain weight.
Well, he knew he was being, a wise physician and saying, some of the studies say that after acute diverticulitis, you can't have seeds or popcorn or nuts or things like that, or there's certain restrictions or, whatever, or extra things with too much fat or too much that you can't drink or,
Yeah.
But instead he was like, you can have anything you want. Can I have a beer? Yeah. You can have anything you want. So I went from like near death experience with a surgical, a surgical event that saved me with that situation to now you can go out and you're free. Like you're back, you can do whatever you want. So some of those problems with food followed me. Fully followed me.
Asylum opened
And
its
then,
doors.
and then I like look back at pictures of me through that era and, and just got to a place eventually where I tried like a kind of a fad diet at one point that really didn't have the right nutrition in it. And then that kind of starved me and it like looked a little better. I looked like I was doing a little better, but then I went even further and gained it all back, And then I got to a point where it was like, I had to go to new places to even look for clothes. I had to, I think
was that at the point where we were all starting to worry about it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had gone and lived at sea level for 6 months and come back. And so when I first came back, also the air felt like it was just suffocating, because I would already, because I was already really not in a good place with being overweight. And then
what was
that
your
contributed to it.
Epiphanous moment? Epiphany?
I like that.
What was your moment of epiphany? Thank you very much. That's why you are with me here.
Yeah.
Because you are smart. What was your moment of epiphany that you realized, I got to do this? I got to do something.
It was tied into, we're going to go like into more like personal, like health, other health stuff. It was when I could not sleep and I had a really severe, and I'd always had some, but this turned really severe, sleep apnea. So like complex, really severe sleep apnea.
Was that brought on by the weight?
It probably had been, like I'd always snored, and I had always, like chase people away with the snore. Like that was a problem with relationships, friendships, families. It was an issue.
Yeah.
And then like we recorded it one day and I had a friend that was a doctor and he's like, it's really crazy, but it doesn't sound like apnea. But that was like when I was way younger. And then, so by the time I was older and I had more body mass, it was a problem. So I went and, again, long story, but I won't go into it too much. But when I went into the Frisco Institute, High Altitude Institute of Sleep, like I went up there to get studied. They were like, can we study you?
I remember
because
you telling
it
me
was
this.
so severe.
Wow. Yeah.
And I almost didn't go, because I was just scared. And
but then when you did?
Yeah, I went and they treated me. So they treated me. I learned a lot about how to get treated, what to do, the equipment that needs to do it. And it's not that hard to do. Like,
so what did you learn?
Yeah. About the apnea, sleep apnea.
Yeah, like about your body or what they were seeing that you weren't aware of.
Yeah. You lose oxygen. So your oxygen saturation, your OSAT rate. In the mountains, it's not the same as sea level. So generally, if we get like 93, 94, 95%, when they put the little thing on your finger and you look at the, So that's the oxygen saturation. It was getting really low at night, like to the point where I was stopping breathing. I had 158 events per hour that were happening, which is like every 20, 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
I would just stop breathing. And you only get a certain amount. I realized this later. You only get a certain amount of sort of punch card holes in that scenario with your body before it can kill you.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, yeah, it can be really severe, and then just, you know, you succumb to it. So that was the epiphany, was I was able to see what was happening, get the right help. Definitely the stars aligned in a certain way with who I went to see, when I went to see them, and how close I was to having a lot more, making it worse on myself. So, so after getting that, going from like 158 times an hour to fixing, getting the proper treatment, it went down to like 0.1 per hour.
Wow.
So like anything under 10 an hour is treatment.
Because it's scary to know that you had 158 either episodes where you weren't breathing.
It was the way I put it is, if you try to go to sleep and you're exhausted, the most tired you've ever been after a long road trip, or like you just stayed up for 2 days straight.
Yeah.
Like that's always how I was feeling. And you go to sleep and you're like, finally I can lay my head down and sleep. And you're so exhausted. It felt like someone was taking a grand piano, like when they move it into an apartment in New York.
Yeah.
And they lift it up to the window. It felt like someone had a grand piano and they hung it out over my bed and then tied it with one shoestring with a little granny knot. And you have to sleep under that. Like at any moment that can come crashing down on you. That's kind of what it felt
How
like
did
to
you
try to
fall?
sleep.
I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. I'd be scared.
I didn't. There were definitely moments where I just I'd try to like open the window, I would try to like turn lights on, but it just felt like suffocation. And it was really scary. And to the point where like when I saw the sun come up, I'd be like, I'm so glad that I made it to another day.
God,
Yeah.
it's got to be just terrifying to live like that every single day.
Yeah, it was really terrifying. So to get that treatment and to get to the place where I could sleep again was just the most magical feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I'm gonna do this, it's time to look at the food and
Was
fix
the
food.
treatment medical? Was it a medicine that you were taking?
No, it's a device. It's a sleep machine.
Gotcha.
There are some choices for certain patients to take medicine, but mostly the newest procedure, which I don't think I would do, is they can build an implant into your lung and your trachea to help with the obstruction. So it's obstructive sleep apnea, and there are a couple other treatments. But the one that's the most effective for me is it's a sleep machine.
Yeah.
It's just something I wear.
What do you do? Put it over your mouth?
It's not a full mask.
No.
So and I don't want to ever have to have a full mask.
Yeah, because I've seen those.
Yeah, it kind of covers your whole face.
Yeah.
Right.
And
then you have a
there's
big
straps,
tube coming out.
Yeah, that part doesn't. You get used to it when something goes from like emergency critical, this is gonna kill you, to
Then
here's a little treatment that might be uncomfortable for the first.
You don't care if you look
2
like
nights.
Darth Vader in
Yeah,
your
it doesn't
sleep.
matter how you look, and you don't look like that with this device. It's a nose system.
Like an oxygen
It's
thing.
just it looks similar to a nasal cannula.
Yeah.
But there's a little more to it. you
Okay.
know?
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I'm so grateful for that.
It's really effective. And it's true, not a lot of patients can tolerate it because they don't get through that first, like, figuring out the machine, figuring out the treatment, how to wear it, when to wear it.
It's cumbersome, I bet.
It's not that cumbersome,
No?
though. That's the thing. It's more, it's just a routine. You know, it's like
It
just a
could be
routine.
mentally
Yeah.
cumbersome for some people,
It's
though.
probably not any more cumbersome than just having to wear, like, restrictive clothing all day.
Yeah.
like
a bra?
I think if
I
it
didn't
makes you
say
feel
it. I
comfortable
didn't say it.
sleeping so that you're
Right?
not afraid
Exactly.
of waking up, it's probably
It's,
better.
it's a little bit of the reverse. The system works really well. It's not that bad. I know people are like, "Oh, I'd never do that," but you would do it.
would.
You would do it.
You would,
yeah,
of
exactly.
course. Do it,
Yeah,
100%.
and it helps me. And like now, it's been like 1,200 nights in a row
Wow.
of treatment with like no breaks. Like so, the sleep
This
is
is
100.
working.
I'm sleeping better than I've ever slept in my whole life.
Yeah.
Maybe then more. You know.
How has the sleep and the obvious weight loss
Yeah.
changed your way of looking at your own personal life in an emotional fashion?
It has changed it. And like I was saying, when I figured out the sleep, the 1-2 punch was going to be to figure out the food. And I did something drastic again, which in the past, you know, when you do something drastic in this category, it can kind of help you or hurt you, you know? Drastic meaning like you can like try a fad, and then does that work? Are you getting the right nutrition from
Is this
it?
where you hired somebody to cook for you?
Yes, I got a chef.
Yeah, you did.
I love that.
got a
I want a chef.
I got a chef, and it was so worth it.
It was worth it. So see, that wasn't bad for you, and
Yeah.
they taught you the best thing that I know that you took away from having a chef.
Should I shout out that chef?
Shout the chef out.
It's Allie Jetson.
Allie!
Yes, she was
Thank
the
you.
best.
Look what you have done.
Well,
And then what
no one's
you
perfect,
learned from
but
Allie
me.
that I remember that you told me was
Yeah.
that once you didn't need her to cook for you anymore, you had learned to do it yourself.
Yes, there was a point.
And you
in
learned
time.
the right ingredients and the way to prepare food and the certain oils or whatever. She taught you so
Yeah.
much on
There's
how
a
to take
lot.
care of yourself
There's
that
a-
you
yeah.
carry it along with you after she's
Yes.
cooking for somebody else.
It's so powerful to learn. And again, every culture, every person has a different way, different path to reaching that sort of healthy food scenario. But for me, it was I have to learn it from someone that knows more than me. I'm going to the expert. It's expensive. It's a routine. It's strict, but I wanted it to be. You know, it was like, so I didn't eat any food off of what she was giving me all my food. I had in containers. I was doing plan, you know.
So you ate
had
nothing aside from that?
Nothing aside from that. Yeah.
I love it.
And it was like,
how disciplined.
Here's the breakfast, section, boom, for one day.
So can I ask
Here's
you a
the-
personal
yeah.
question? You had said your original reason for getting an eating disorder was because you never felt full.
Yeah.
When you were having these meals with her, were they substantially
Yes.
satisfying
Great
you?
question, and yes.
Wow.
So for the
So
first
something
time,
switched.
maybe ever, I was having the healthy food, and it tasted really good, and I was full, and I got the nutrition, and I was able to get my body back to where I wanted it.
Yay.
And it happened pretty fast. It happened. Now, I definitely, like I said, no one's perfect, and maintaining perfect body balance without saying derogatory things about it, which I've learned more recently to not, because we put ourselves down, right? So,
What
Absolutely.
we do body shame ourselves more than anybody
Sure.
else.
So
I do it.
So
every
again,
day.
it comes back to being patient, being good to yourself,
Yeah.
being kind to yourself,
Exactly.
not being
Critical.
not being a jerk to yourself.
Don't be so
Don't
critical.
be a jerk to your own body, and
Right,
it will
yeah.
treat you. It will treat you. It'll treat you well.
I always say this, and Jen's heard me say it 100 times. If I talk to other people the way I talk to myself, I'd be punched in the face every day.
Interesting.
So, if I got to learn how to treat myself the way I treat everybody else. Why would I be so mean and cruel
Yeah.
to myself when I see things and
Yeah.
I'm so repulsed by certain things? Like Jen knows, my arms are getting old because I'm getting old, and I literally am like a little freak about it. And I know it's the dumbest thing because all I have to do is lift some weights and maybe it'll pop out again. But it doesn't matter. We are so self-critical, and we want to be that authentic, what we looked like when we were 25 or felt like when we were 25 or whatever the case was. When you start seeing your body either betray you or lose tautness, whatever you call it. You lose it. What's that thing when you call it? What goes up must come down. All of that
It's
stuff.
okay. It's okay.
We have to learn to love
Yeah.
ourselves no matter what is taking place and all the changes that we have, whether because we're getting older or if we've gone through trauma and we had to go off our wagon for a little bit or whatever. We have to treat ourselves kinder and with more love and respect. And I can talk that all day, but then yet I'm still wearing sleeves.
Yeah, it's societal thing. It's so many things. Cultural
Yeah.
thing. But you just keep have to checking in what feels good. What's and for me at the time it was aligning that the thing that was healthy for me felt good.
I love
So
That's the best. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that also
Yeah.
raise your dopamine and all that other good stuff?
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, dopamine's the quick fix, right?
Oh.
Serotonin is the longer.
Oh, that's the one we like.
sustained.
We seek.
Yeah, exactly. but I mean, that junk food gives you the dopamine spike, the sugar,
Exactly.
the alcohol,
And
the
that's why you
cigarettes,
find
the
yourself,
drugs.
it's just like chasing the dragon with candy. You
Yeah.
had the taste, it starts going away. You're
Yeah.
like, I need it again. And you
Right.
got to pop another one. It's
Yeah.
the same
You're
thing.
eating garbage or and
Yeah.
the things that are not good for you and not natural, your body's still hungry for the actual protein and
Well, you're a good
vitamins that you
example.
actually need, so you are still constantly craving that. So you eat more and more. And
Right.
then if you're eating more,
And you're a
fake
good
foods,
example,
processed
Jen.
foods, you're still starving your body, but you're eating all these empty calories and whatnot. Why am I a good example?
Because you started noticing the foods that were affecting your physical self. If you recall, you found out that gluten was starting
gluten,
to
yes.
screw up your
Totally.
system, and other things were making you, like sugar was making you get the headaches and all that stuff. So that's what I mean. You were able to recognize the foods that was not making you feel well.
Absolutely. And giving up gluten was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Like me, I could eat the same thing forever and not realize that that's the thing that's going to kill me. But when you're that aware,
You just realized if I say it again right there.
there you have it.
No, I mean, it is. It's the awareness part.
It's
such
very
a big
true. You
part.
have to
It's
be.
cliche to say it.
No,
but,
it's not.
But like when we say that, we are putting something that, we have human willpower, right? So that also separates us from the animal kingdom. And if we have the willpower to feel healthy, there's ways to do it. right?
Absolutely.
And food's confusing because it gives us the mixed signals when we first have something. It's like we just ate and that filled that space, and let's go on with our day, and hopefully we're gonna have some energy for that. And then you just you learn what's gonna be best for you. And everyone has a different path.
Absolutely.
I never had any like official issues with gluten, but the chef Allie, when she was helping me, she knew, and she was able to. She was so good about that. She would always put things in there that like were super healthy, whether it was turmeric or whether it was different spices. She just knew, and avoiding. We've gone a long conversation about this too, but just avoiding certain seed oils, certain processed items. It just really helps to have the better ingredients. Are they more expensive? Yes. Is there a balance somewhere in the middle? I think so.
Your health is
tough.
worth it.
It's always tough.
Because you're going to spend a lot more money at the doctor's from some ailment that you had from eating the frozen food that you pull out of the freezer every day.
That makes
the
you
microwave.
hungry again, yeah. And so that was the point, was having the healthy stuff made me feel full. I didn't have that craving as much. I was able to kind of get away from that. Now, that was a long period of being really strict and really kind of like paring down and being in the place where I wanted to be with my body. And then there were some times where, I've had the reward system came back again. I've had 3 years of this, so I'm gonna break it a little bit, break the fast a little bit, and continue to have some things when it's time. I try to balance it out. Again, no one's perfect.
You're allowed to enjoy your life. You can't live in some punishment phase.
I do that with macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
My favorite.
And I mean, if you can just make some of it on your own and put your own ingredients in it
Instead of
make it
craft in
yours
a
and
box,
more,
yeah.
I mean, again, we're not here to
has cheese ever been powdery in your life?
Oh, I've seen powdery cheese.
That's what I'm saying. If you have powdered cheese, you know there's nothing real in there.
Yeah. In college, I probably had
Oh, yeah.
mac and cheese, 5 nights a week, because that's just
And it
what
was cheap.
right?
And ramen noodles,
And
the
I'd mix it-
sodium goddess.
Or I'd mix it with pretzels to have that crunch. I was early on to the pretzel fetish of putting pretzels and everything.
That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, but it was bad. It was really bad.
Well,
but,
we all do fall into some bad habits, whether it is food, like you said, or the way we live our lives. Sometimes people become promiscuous to get out of whatever they're in.
Yeah,
Some people turn to alcohol. Some people
Yep.
turn to drugs. A lot of people turn to
Yeah.
food. In my own family, oddly enough, I grew up with my sister. We started off the same size, and we ate the same.
Mm-hmm.
But one went one way and the other went the other way. And
Yep.
because of the strictness, there was the rebellion.
Yeah.
And we would run to it was called the Humpty Dumpty store. It was a little like a 7-Eleven type
Yeah,
store.
sure.
We would sneak out of the house and run and get as much crap that we could.
Yeah.
And sit in a room because we had like tab. Ugh. And so we'd sit there like molten milk balls,
Sure.
Bub's Daddy gum, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So we were just killing ourselves.
It starts out as a celebration, as a fun escape.
Yes.
As something that everyone does.
But then sometimes people end up with an addiction.
Yeah.
And it takes years of self-love and care to get yourself back.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And
I just ended up a diabetic.
Okay. Yeah. We all have different ways of finding out the hard way.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Like we can learn by seeing others thinking about it, not learning the hard way. But no, we're human. And humans are messy.
We
so we
are.
learn a lot of things out of it.
And then when you are also adding what is going on in our space around us, then it adds to all of the emotional things that we already have, whether we have anxiety, mental health, depression, stress, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn off the news, people, but you click it on, and then everything feels like, I don't know about you, but I get this visceral reaction that I don't even realize is happening until it's happening.
Yeah.
And then I realize my body is like, I start shaking, I start heavily breathing, and I'm realizing that just took over my entire psyche and took the happy away. And it's like,
well, there's a reason for this.
Please tell me.
There's an aspect of a theory of holism. And that's that we really are all connected.
I love that.
We're all aspen trees.
All 8 to 9 billion of us, we're sharing a common thread, and we're sharing our roots. And so when we turn on the macro, when we turn on the news, we turn on the big stories, we turn on something financial, we turn on something about war, we turn on something, that picture and all of that happening at once is too much for one individual to process. So
look, I'm like getting teary-eyed over that.
You can't. I mean, like when you'll wake up in the morning, and then that'll be the first thing that you think of if you're.
I have waking anxiety. There's sometimes I wake up and I'm shaking like I'm petrified.
Isn't there a couple seconds though, right before you wake up, that you're
that
still
blissful moment?
You're not sure, and like,
which way do I go?
I think we can live in that longer.
I love that. I love that phase.
We can enter that phase for a longer period of time if we're
just sleep
careful.
in. Yeah. Sleep in.
It's more like you have this store of memory, that's like short term, what's happening. And do you ever notice when I just noticed this in the last year, I was driving to like kind of a stressful work environment, and like I had this one feeling in my body that like, okay, I got this. I'm gonna get in there. We're gonna help people, and and what I was doing. I won't talk about work too much, but and then literally one day later, I was in the same car taking the same route, the same exact path, but to a recording studio to go see my friends and record music.
What a difference.
Or even just driving to the place that's going to be like your vacation for the day, or I mean, airports are stressful, but your travel day, you're going to go the end of the day to somewhere fun, or it's the same person. It's just 24 hours later, and you just have totally different feeling,
and you have all this new information
about what's happening, and it's just your attitude and how you are reacting to the world around you.
Gosh.
In that moment. And when it's something pleasant and something that we love, it's so much better than if it's something stressful. But that's the trick, is learning how to be okay with all this stuff happening.
Yeah.
That we can't control.
Well, and you're so dead spot on. I mean, you really are. I remember when...
Not okay with it, but we accept it. We sort of surrender that, like, we can do a certain amount on our own, that's powerful, with our own willpower for ourselves. And then that can spread, and you can help other people. You can help. You're
so amazing. I mean, I just remember when COVID hit, everybody handled it in their own special way. Yeah. I was an emotional basket case. I would watch the news. I was sobbing over the people going to the hospital that couldn't see their loved ones.
It's the most extreme way of the macro hurting us. It's the most extreme.
It happened to me every day. I was rolling, sobbing, and then
we had 9/11.
Yeah, right. But it was the same exact feeling.
Same thing, where it's just like that fear of terror and doom.
Yeah,
and it's so bad for your body to have that type of stress, that type of cortisol.
The only
in your
way
body.
to combat that was those symphony bars during COVID. I looked like one. I told you that. I was like the square symphony bars. That's
the
what
chocolate.
I was sitting there like eating them and crying, and then I was like all square. I looked like one. You are what you eat. But my point is that the other day, I found myself in that same set of mindset where I was watching, and just the dehumanization of what's happening right now is making me feel exactly like I did during COVID. And the tears start rolling, and my husband looks at me, he goes, this is how you reacted during COVID. And all of a sudden I looked at him, I was like, I need to snap out of this, don't I? He goes, you really, really do. I'm like,
there's a few tricks to help you get out of it.
Would you mind sharing some of these tricks with us?
Yeah, no, I would love to.
What?
The first thing that comes to mind is nature. So it's tougher. It's tougher in certain climates to always
Not
have
here.
that. But here, even in the winter or even cold, just to get outside, turn off all the screens, turn off all the devices.
I love that.
And just go into nature and try to just, even if it's just for, half hour or 30 minutes or 60 minutes.
I believe in that with the river too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just sitting by the river.
We live in a beautiful place.
Yeah.
An urban environment. There's parks and things, but at least here we have a lot of places you can just go and just feel.
Urban environment parks don't go after dark.
Right.
So give us a second.
Getting into nature is really important, and that ties into exercise. So just movement, getting yourself.
How do you motivate yourself if you're somebody that I walk I'm always
Walking
active.
is huge.
I'm an active person,
Yeah.
but how do you get somebody like me that really wants to go back and start doing a regime, whether it's a yoga or a Pilates or a weightlifting? How do you kickstart that desire? Because that's the hardest thing. Once you're in it, you're in it. But when you
have
get
to
somebody
like it.
motivated,
If it's walking, it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all those other things.
right?
It's great if you can, and if you find that you do something and then this is something you really enjoy, you keep doing it. But you can't fake exercise.
You can't.
You
gotta
have
be
to,
motivated.
It has to be something you want to do. And walking is such a great way to do it. I think, just getting out there just for an hour or two, if you can. I mean, not many people have that much time, but if you have that kind of time, get out there and just get on your feet and go. Put on your good music that you like to listen to.
I think everybody can make time.
Don't put on a stressful podcast. Put on a good podcast.
The very nature one. But the truth is that, everybody can make time in their day. I'm not the person that's going to wake up early to do it.
No, me neither.
No,
No.
hell no.
No.
But I know that when I'm done with a specific day, I could go do something.
Yeah.
I don't have to go get horizontal and watch the news that makes me cry.
Other thing I recommend is the right brain creative outlet. So anything
creativity.
Anything creative outlet that your right brain
I love that.
can work. So and that's one thing about music, why it's so healing. Just use music as one example, but it could be sculpture, it could be writing, it could be dance.
Do you want to hear something weird?
Just watching other creatives.
I tried the coloring.
Yeah,
The adult coloring.
Okay.
But you put on some really like yoga type music or Zen tunes, and it's already created for you. So you just have to color.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you find yourself immersed after a while.
Calgon take you away.
Oh, it's a Calgon moment.
Oh my God. That was the height of relaxation.
Yeah, remember that? Anytime you wanted to escape your anxiety, Calgon!
So using right brain and
I love that. Creative.
actually music fires all of the different neural pathways in a healthy way.
Like
Because-
how?
Well, especially if you are creating and observing. So and they find that just listening to music also triggers dancing to music, but playing music, it might be one more level of where all the hemispheres of the brain, everything's talking to each other the way it should be in there without getting technical.
It's all in harmony.
Yeah, it's all in harmony, and they've done studies where they can see brain activity during music, and just the idea of being able to create, but then also observe the others that are creating with you in towards one song or towards one groove. That's a big part of music, is getting into that. It's kind of like a trance. So I always joke that drummers, especially, because they're doing such rhythmic things, that they put their own selves into a trance.
I see it.
That's the
Their
right brain.
faces.
That's where you kind of lose yourself and go into a place where you're away from, from the energetic standpoint. I guess it would be, you're not in your head really as much, and you're kind of more in your heart. Right?
Oh, I love that.
Although the activity is really happening in the brain, but that's how you think of it, is you're doing stuff with your heart.
Right.
And the emotional side of music is just about always positive. I
love that.
It's really a great outlet. So.
While we are on the topic of music,
Yes.
Dave is in a band called the Evolution Live. And you all play magnificent songs, the 8-piece mostly, sometimes less, sometimes more. And you guys play out in this community. And music is the one thing that soothes, it calms, it heals, and it brings people together in a positive way. So always look out to see what the Evolution Live is doing locally.
TheEvolutionLive.com. We've got a new album. We just put out an 11-track album.
Oh my gosh.
We really put all originals, put a lot of work into it. and that's been a great resource for. I've actually been able to go back to the studio where we recorded the album and do some volunteer work and help with other things and other projects that's over with Max Clark at Maxed Out Studios.
Maxed out. But that's also what feeds your heart and feeds your spirit and gives you the things that you're enjoying that keeps that serotonin rolling through.
Yes.
The quick hit dopamine, throw the candy away and do something you love.
Yes, there you go. You got it.
I mean, that's it. I mean, we were blown through an hour like a thunderstorm.
Yeah, we did.
Seriously. Look at that. We have blown through an hour. So I am so grateful for you to be here. And I know you have a couple of questions. Let's get some out and then we can wrap up. But I don't want you to go.
I don't want to go.
I love you.
I don't know. I'm thinking through your story and your journey, and I just love it. And I love the way that you've basically connect to music and healing to like your journey with food. And I'm just grateful that you're here and sharing your story.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. Yeah.
There's another great group of people that I've also recently met that are a community here that is a volunteer community, a nonprofit community, and Alex Kondoloft is she's the leader of BodyKindVail.org.
Oh, that's nice.
She's great. I think she'd be a great person to have here with you guys.
We'd love to bring
her
on.
Like to come on. And this is an eating disorder group that meets, and just what a cool, diverse group of everyone that's come together to sort of have some awareness around this topic.
And not only that, we all have it in a specific way. Even like body dysmorphia, you can look in the mirror and you see what's not really there.
Yeah.
So I would love to bring her on. That sounds like a wonderful guest for our next podcast.
She would be great. And,
Yay.
We thank her for all of her good work, and it's just beginning, so it really is nice. She just kicked it off.
Oh,
and it's
wonderful.
growing, and it's a really cool community.
Let's do it.
And it's just such a cool experience to have the awareness, with yourself and helping yourself. And I've done a lot of things where I just kind of got brave and did things on my own.
Yeah.
But then to also have the group setting.
And that's brave to also reach out to get some help or to join a group of like-minded people that can help you get through stuff. It's just a wonderful experience. And watching you for the last 12 years, I think I've known you 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched you grow and change, but remarkably so into this incredible, wonderful person that has empathy. You have a little magic, and you're always looking to help people because you and me talk a lot, and you're always either, if you're not worried about somebody, you're trying to help somebody. And I think that is part of your nature. And I know that it takes a lot of self-love to love others. So I think you're there. And thank you for whatever steps you took to become this wonderful human.
Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate being here.
Thanks,
and look forward to doing it again and talking more detail about all these good topics.
Yeah, there's so many topics that we can talk about. And that's why we have the podcast all the time here at High Five Access Media. We're always here for you if you'd like to be part of the podcast or learn more about Dave or one of us, knuckleheads. Either way, we are here for you guys, and we are on Tuesdays, and we are on the High Five Access Media podcast website as well as YouTube. And starting this week, Channel 5. That's right. We are on the same station as Stanford and Son, and I'm super excited about that. So High Five Access Media, thank you for the platform. And Dave, thank you for the just fantastic conversation.
Yes, it's great to be here. It's also great to be the first gentleman on here.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say that. Thank you for being our first gentleman on here.
Well, I've been taking her cues. She goes, we need locals, we need guys. We need locals, we need guys.
I feel like we just scratched the surface, too. There's so much more.
There's so much.
Discuss next time.
And men have the same. We all have one brain. We all are made of energy. It doesn't matter what you got down here. Everybody has emotions. Everybody has mental issues. Everybody has a reason to tune into the chat box to find out if there's some resource for them to make life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you very much for tuning in. We are the Chatbox Vail, the only mental health podcast in the Valley. Coming to you from High Five Access Media, Jen Saito, I'm Liz Farron, and our special guest, Dave Donahue. Yay! We're done.